my words when I was in that press conference, when I was in that conference and the meeting that had been invited, we had been invited by Tatu City to discuss this matter. My words were unequivocal on that day, and the date is there. That was on the 8th of December 2023. And my remarks remain unchanged. And I want Preston, wherever he is, to hear those words, to remind himself and play. He has that recording of our first meeting. They also recorded the meeting. And I said to them with uncertain terms that our bond is our integrity. And that is the standard I've upheld in Kiambu since I became governor. And I will still uphold it. I will not be bent. And as condescending as Preston may be, because his attitude is extremely condescending, he's just short of still wearing that colonial mentality, where he thinks that every black man, be it a governor who is, has a price tag. I said we don't have. As a governor, I cannot be lured. Neither can I be coerced. My position is the same, even today, that the law must be followed. The law must be followed. It is very clear. We have people, and I remember on that day also telling the Tatu City team that my government is struggling in various areas. We are struggling in Mweki, in Roiro, because we can't find a single inch of land to build an ECD class for the entire of almost 500,000 people in Mweki, in Roiro. The same story is replicated in Kio Ward, in Kahawa Sukari, everywhere. I have numerous court cases today that are in court where we have been sued by previous land developers like Tatu City, who developed Kahawa Sukari. And after that, they took up all the private land, all the public land they had set aside because they insisted on retaining the public land in their name. The same thing happened to all the other subdividers of land when they were developing. And because the law was not followed. What will happen is after the entire of the 5,000 acres in Tatu City has been uptaken, then you are going to have a cluster of the lowly, the dejected, the wretched of society. What will happen is just outside Tatu City, you're going to have another Githogoro. And I want people of this county to understand and this country to understand. The reason why you have Githogoro there, where people live in subhuman conditions, is because those that have been there in leadership failed to stand up for their people against people who are condescending, like Preston, against people who label others, and they think just because they have the back that everything must be followed to what they think, to what they want. So we want to encourage all the investors in Tatu City, private, foreign, and local, that they come to Kiambu County. As we uphold the law that protects the poor, we shall also uphold the law that also ensures that those that are investing also have their say, they will have their way, they will have what they're supposed to have as investors. But the balance must be upheld. We are all children of God, of one God. And we have a right that is enshrined here in this country, in our constitution. So all those things that were being said there yesterday, there was an impression that was persistently trying to be created, that there was 2 acres of land that the governor wanted for his house. It is akin to saying that Moi Kibaki, when he was president, and God rest his soul, that he would have gone home with State House and taken it to Nyeri. It is akin to saying that when President Moi was president, and God rest his soul too, that he would have taken State House to Kabarak. That is intentional misleading. The law is here. These are documents which we'll give you. This is the Gazette notice and a notice by SRC dated as early as 2013. 2013, the first year of devolution, that it is incumbent upon every county government to ensure that the officers from the Speaker of the County Assembly, to the deputy speaker, to the deputy governor and the governor, that those governments have built institutions, including residential and official residences for those officers, to save the public from the house allowances. And let it be known, and I'm sure all the governors will say the same thing. The house allowance for governors was withdrawn a long time ago. So for governors like me and all the other counties who have not yet constructed an official residence, do not have house allowance, and they don't have houses to live in. That's how we live. And those are the facts. But I would also ask anyone of a different view whether the residence of the DCC in Kiambu is a private property. The DCC comes there and he lives because national government already built residential houses for their personnel. That is the requirement of law, and it is here. So that twist, and the reason why there was an insistence that there is 2 acres, which was being called 2 acres for a house, is because there was an intention to remove the limelight from the real issues. The real issues are that this letter that was shared and sent to Tatu City enumerates all the public facilities from the hospitals to the police station to the primary schools that are supposed to be surrendered as per pluper to be in the hands of the county government for security of those generations. Lastly, let me address the issue of once public land has been surrendered, can a private developer then go back and seek again to retake and reallocate the same surrendered public facility? And that is the mischief that most of the developers are trying to play at. That they will allocate land for approval at approval level so that they can get the approval. Once you give them the approval, and they have said we have surrendered this land for a school, they will insist that let this land remain under the name of the developer. After a few years or months, then they will seek a buyer. And if a buyer says where you had allocated the school is what they want, they run again and say we want to change the size of that land, even the location of that land to another place. And this is one of the things that in the revision of the master plan, that's one of the things that Tatu City was trying to do, to change some of the earlier provided for public amenities. So in conclusion, we have nothing against Tatu City. We shall support Tatu City as an entity and the investors who have come to Kiambu. We are aware that we need jobs. We are going to ensure that we do the best that we can, but we are not going to allow the likes of Preston, and I want to single him out as an individual because he is not Tatu City. Tatu City is the entire entity. He is an employee of Tatu City. And he should do better on behalf of the investors who have entrusted him with that position by not coming here to play local politics and mishandle matters. And he should know that we should live in this space respecting each other's role and ensuring that we just find compromise. And where the law has to be followed, then the law must be followed. So my conclusion is that as governor of Kiambu, there's no price on my neck that will make me bend. And you know, if it were not for you members of the fourth estate, I would have invited you to my residence, my private residence, just to confirm that I have my own house. So I don't need another one to be given by Preston. I live here in Kiambu. I live in Wangige. I have a home there. I have a wife. I have children. We all live there and we are happy. So we don't need another one. But what we need is to ensure that those people there, in Ruiru, in the other places, who will come to be laborers there, will have been preceded by a governor who has the guts to stand up for truth and family. So, we are a free country, though, ladies and gentlemen. And though others may have different opinions, we are factual and we shall be guided by the law. So that's all I have to state. And I want to ask Preston that as immediately as possible, he tenders a public apology for having intentionally called a press conference to malign my name as an individual and my government. And I'll be waiting for him to do that as quickly as possible. In the absence of a public apology, I will seek redress in a court of law as an individual, because that was intended to malign me as a person. So thank you very much. May God bless all of you. Asanteni sana. We'll share these documents with you for you to be able to have a look.